Feel the difference with CBD direct oils.
CBD oils may have the health benefits for your aches and pains.
Thanks for sponsoring our show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is PDR Tool Time, episode 208, coming to you live, not really live, pre-recorded a week earlier, with your host, Vince D'Alessandro, Daniel Graham, John Renstrom, and Hudson Tanzi. What's going on, fellas? What's going on in the world of PDR?
So, all right. So how is everybody's week? I'm getting pumped. I'm possibly going to fix a hail truck tomorrow.
Woohoo.
So I'm getting excited.
Actually doing PDR, really?
Actual PDR, roof and a hood on an F-150. So, yeah, I'm super excited.
Well, when you get bored, you can just fly down and see me. I'll put you to work.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah, same here. I think Hudson's pretty busy too.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. On top of having my wife right now, praise her. She's holding down the fort. She's sick, and we got 2 sick kids home. 2 of the 3 kids sick, and she still is saying, "Hey, you know what? Go do the podcast. It's important. I'll make it happen." So,
yeah. Good
thank
mama.
you.
Good mama. They sacrifice for us, men and kids.
We
wouldn't believe.
Women are way more stronger than men. After watching 3 births.
Yeah. All right. So what's going on out there in the world?
He also had a birthday. Hudson had a birthday last week.
We did. We missed his birthday.
It was like, how old am I? I'm 32.
32. 32 is good.
Oh,
33.
Yeah, I turned 32. Really? How old do you think I am?
You look like you're 22.
Oh, I act like it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. But no, big deal. Hey, you know what? It's been in the PDR thing, despite the sick stuff, the PDR thing, it's been good. Like usually February is pretty dead, but I've been staying pretty steady and just getting to work on lots of fun stuff. And it's been cool. Like I usually expect it to be really, really slow during February, but it's been
jamming.
Yeah. I've just been having really good, enjoyable dents.
Yeah.
I work on go ahead. What, John?
Vince, speaking of staying busy, Vince, you're now looking for somebody?
I am looking for somebody. I need someone. I'm crossing the globe right now. Not the globe, but the states. I'm doing all these meetups and IMI trainings everywhere. And this is kind of my busy season headed into it. And I've been, since MTE, I haven't had a weekend home really. Came home from MTE sick and that lost the whole week. And then off to Dallas. I just got back to from Dallas and went on a little tool tour with Mr. Craig Dyer from Anson Tools.
Ooh,
yeah.
You went to Dent Craft, right?
Yeah. Well, see, we got this wild hair up our butts, right? We got to drive all the way to A1. We know the destination's A1, right? And that's like 9 hours away from Fort Worth. So. And it was crappy.
So you go north to Oklahoma City?
Yes. It's actually faster to go north Oklahoma City and then cut over to Boulevard, Missouri, I guess.
Okay.
So because it's freeways, it's tollways the whole way, opposed to stop and go traffic through little towns if you just go straight up north. So we're like, all right, you know what? If we're going to Oklahoma City, let's stop at Dent Craft. Let's stop at Keco. Let's see if we could get into PDR Finesse. And who else is up there in that direction? There's, Missouri has a few others. So we made it to 2 out of all the ones that we wanted to.
Now, were they the only 2 open? Was everybody too busy? How come you didn't make them all?
Yeah, we called Kenny over at Keco on the way to Dent Craft, and Kenny was like, "Oh, we're all in Germany eating schnitzel and drinking beer right now." So
Icery show in Germany.
Exactly. So they were there, and so we took a left, and Keco and Dent Craft is only like 15 minutes away from each other. They're right next to each other. So we diverted over to Dent Craft. And we called Richard first over at Dent Craft, and he said, "Hey, everyone's at Icery in is it Icery in Germany." But Richard was there, and the working crew was there. So we went there. TJ was there, and then we hung out there. And the other guy, Dent Stuff. Who's Dent Stuff?
David
Schlemmer was there. So we all kind of had a little powwow, and Richard took us through the plant secretly. We were not allowed to look in certain directions, But he took us through and showed us the place, and we had a good time with him. He was awesome. He was very forthcoming with information about Dentcraft, and it's kind of cool because I'm out here in California. I've seen Dent Gear, I've seen Ultra, B&D, I've seen their productions and stuff like that, and I don't think we realize what goes into making some of our tools, and it's pretty cool when you actually see the process.
Now, is there anything you can share with us that you did see there?
At Dentcraft?
Yeah.
Their front reception area is all you really need to see. I mean, that's super cool.
That truck.
Yeah.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, they got a truck on the wall, and they got other stuff in there, and they have a tiny little showroom, which they're going to be expanding. Not all the tools are there, but the majority of them are there. And if the ladies were there, that's where you'd run into my favorite Jennifer and Holly. They're a lot of fun. If you've ever been to any trade show, they're kind of the life of Dentcraft. And so they were gone, but I still, kind of rubbed my scent all over their stuff before I left.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate it.
There was a slight, there was a slight comment you just made that I think all of us hard-headed dent guys need to get through our head that you just said is like, we don't realize how much goes into making the dent tools that we use. And we need to take what we have to do as dent guys. We need to take our own, big-headedness of like, these customers don't, it just pops out. It just pop.
Just a piece of
You
steel.
don't realize what goes into fixing a dent. Take that same mentality and shift it over to the people making your tools. It's not just bending a bunch of metal rods. There's heat treatments. There's different alloys and all kinds of things going into this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take a wild guess. Like at Ultra, he's probably got $2 million worth of machinery or more, right?
Probably. I would say easily 2 million. Yeah.
Did you know if you put those up on fire, you could probably get all your money back through insurance
And then some.
and then some? Sorry, that's a horrible joke.
So, but you know what? Out of all, like Ultra, they make other stuff besides PDR tools. A1, they make other stuff besides PDR tools. B&D.
Wait, really?
Yes.
A1 will make stuff for like things that aren't in the PDR industry?
Different industry. Yeah.
Oh, I had no clue.
Yeah. So
They would have to. I mean, we're such a niche market, manufacturing is needed for tons of different things.
exactly. And when you're dealing with companies that size, if you ever walk into Ultra or I don't know about Dentcraft. I can't speak at Dentcraft because you can't see their proprietary ways that they do things. But it's a really big facility, and maybe they are making all the PDR tools and maybe not. It's really none of my business, and they weren't offering up the information, but it is a big friggin' facility.
Yeah, it's big. I've been there.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then when we were done with Dentcraft, we drove up to A1 the next day. The thing is, it was really crappy weather, so it was going to take us a long time to get there anyways. So that's why we were like, you know what, let's just stop along the way and say hi to people.
That always makes a fun trip.
Finding some new tools and stuff for.
Yeah, we're working on some new tools that are going to be released probably in the not so near future. We have probably about close to 20 different types that are coming out, and we're just Anson is working at making their own tools. Obviously, they have the tequila line, which has been really successful, and we're working on some other stuff that will be coming out in the near future.
Now, does A1 make the tools for the tequila line?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it's Tequila Designs.
Tequila Designs, just like Excalibur is made by A1, and they're all Excalibur designed. A1 will make you any tool you want if you bring it to them. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make tools
Dent
for
Reaper.
lots of people.
Dent Reaper.
Yeah. But I've while we're talking about it, PDR Finesse, since they hand make all their tools, on their website, they have an option like make your own tool.
Oh, right.
And you can draw it on a freaking napkin and send the photo into Tim. Is it Tim? Crap, it's Bonnie and
Bonnie. I think it might be Tim. Yeah.
And Tim, her husband Tim,
Uh-huh.
and they'll make you a custom tool. I mean, it's going to cost a little bit more, but you say you can draw it up on a napkin, talk to him on the phone, and they'll make one for you.
Hey, dude.
When it comes,
All tools are handmade.
Well, yeah. Okay,
Unless you're getting into like whale tails that are laser cut and then, shaped a little bit.
Yeah. I know what yes, I get it. But like anyways,
But
what I meant.
And when I was at A1, they showed that. I mean, I went into the grinding and polishing room. I couldn't even breathe in there. It's like, holy crap. You got these guys just on grinders all day long, grinding down rods, making, flat parts and shapes and this and that. And it's like, holy crap, where's your masks?
So I'm going to share a little tech tip. Go down to the welding store, get some welding wire, and bend the shape of the tool you want with the welding wire, especially if it's intricate. If it's got some twists or anything like that, and send them the welding wire as a template.
Oh.
And that way you get exactly what you want. Drawing it can be very difficult, especially if it has any twists or turns in it or weird angles. And that's my little secret. That's what I MTE. I brought a couple of wires and gave them to Blem to make me up a prototype.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not very familiar with welding wire.
Just a piece of bendable wire. You can take a coat hanger and unbend a coat hanger, use a coat hanger.
Okay, so is welding wire, is it flimsy enough to where you can bend it easily, but also stout enough to where when you send it in the mail, it's not going to get shifted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Simple, cheap, easy.
Very cool.
Anything else there, Vince, on your tool tour?
No, you know what? Everyone's really nice and gracious. And, even over at A1, I mean, they're just nice people. I did not get a chance to get over to Blem. Blem is only like 2 miles from A1, but they're extremely secretive about their plant, and they do not let people over there. So I would have liked to go and see Mark and those guys, but maybe one day. But, I'd like to hang out with those guys and not talk PDR tools because they're cool guys.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to tech meetups. We want to talk a little bit real quick. What are the tech meetups that are coming up?
Yeah, so we have 2 tech meetups coming up. They're both on the same day, March 7th. You got the East Coast, which is, I would guess, the Northeast Coast, right? Because it's in Boston.
Yeah, more. Yeah, I would say more Northeast for sure.
Yeah. So the East Coast is big, but Northeast over at RPM Dent Repair, they're meeting on March 7th, which is a Saturday. And then immediately on March 8th, I will be teaching the IMI class. And you guys, listen, you need to sign up for this right away. I need a head count before I could book a ticket. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So there's a lot of guys that want to do it, but they're waiting until the last minute. Please don't, because it might not happen if you wait. Get on the website, get on AnsonPDR.com, go to the training tab, click on it, and pay for it so we know that you're in.
It's the only way those classes happen is you guys need to sign up for them early, because if there's not enough people, then they can't fly everybody out to do these classes. So you guys really need to sign up for these things ahead of time.
This is not a big money making thing. IMI is not big money making. So, I need to have a head count before I get out there. Go ahead, Daniel.
What's the next one?
Next one is the same date, March 7th in Nashville, a PDR Tech Meetup Nashville, and that is going to be at Dent Smart, and which is not in Nashville. It's just south of Nashville. It's a place called Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yes.
And
Murfreesboro is a neat area.
It looks like
it. Good little area.
Yeah.
Never been, heard good things.
And we will not be doing an IMI class there yet, but we will be doing one in the near future there as well.
Word. I think David Haxton is hosting it there.
Yeah.
And Andy Patrick is kind of facilitating that one. So
yeah. Had I known, we probably would have been able to facilitate an IMI class if it was not on the same weekend. But I was not put into the loop.
Word.
Yeah. So those are the meetups. Now, keep in mind, guys, these meetups, if you're trying to host a meetup, it is an industry meetup. It's not like you want to self-promote your business or your brand or anything like that. You know what? If you got a bunch of technicians in your area and you have a shop, put together one of these meetups. Myself, I did it. Jeff from Beach Cities did one here. We've done 2 now on the West Coast, and our plan was to do them quarterly. And it has nothing to do about self-promotion or anything like that. It's trying to get us technicians together in an area and tackle some of the common problems that we have that are specific to our area. And, talk prices, talk, insurance or whatever you guys need to do. It's not just, it's not about self-promotion. Just keep that in mind when you're doing it.
Yeah. And not talking prices in the sense of like everyone having the same price, because that's illegal.
But the trying to educate the guy that's charging too little is
the guy that's charging $19.90 prices. And like, hey, bud, you've been doing this for 20 something years. That's what I have in my area. Is I have guys who've been doing it for 20 plus years, and they're still charging the same prices from when they started 20 something years ago. And I'd be like, hey, dude, you do great repairs. You do high quality repairs. Why are you still charging the same prices from when you started?
Your rent goes up 3% every year minimum.
So yeah, I think there's some people, some techs,
inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some techs just need to be reminded of what their value is and what their worth is, not getting together and saying, hey, we have to all fix dents for this price. It's just letting other techs know what they're worth and what their value is.
Yeah. And it's really good. It's been so much fun lately doing them. And I guess we'll be having another one coming up soon. So, all right, Daniel, what do we got going on tonight?
We're going to bring on a friend of mine, Dave Beute, and he's up in Ontario. Why don't you give him a call?
What a Beute.
Ontario. Was that Ontario, Canada?
Okay. I don't know this guy, so I'm excited. I know nothing about David.
I've met David at MT quite a few times. He's
you know what?
Nice
I'm probably going to be. Maybe I have met him at MT, and I just don't remember. And
he's a big guy. He's very tall.
He's a big guy. So what we'll do is we'll have Daniel take over here once we get him on the line, and you can introduce him and all that good stuff. He's from Advanced Dent Removal. So let's see if we could get a ring. Oh, one ringy-dingy-dingy. Two ringy-dingy-dingies. He's like, who's calling me from California? 3 ringy-dingy-dingies. What's our backup plan if Dave doesn't answer?
We continue on.
I'll pretend to be Dave.
Dave here.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Dave.
Good, you?
Good.
How's it going, man?
You're live on PDR Tool Time. Welcome.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Hi, Dave. It's Vince.
Hey, Vince. How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for coming on. Oh, you got another call.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, is still just working away. He's got 6 phones ringing in the background. He's got no stops.
We're going to have conference calls here soon.
Are you on East Coast time or Central?
We're Eastern.
Okay, so it's 9:10 at night, and you're still working. Your phone's ringing off the hook, huh?
Yeah, it was the other phone, actually, so not working at this point.
Cool. All right, Dave. Well, I wanted to bring you on because we were talking a little bit about your business model, and you do a lot of wholesale, and we don't get to talk to a lot of guys that have a successful wholesale business. And so I wanted to kind of dive into your wholesale business and, encourage guys that are out there with their wholesale business to maybe learn something and get their prices up and start making some good money like you are up there. So you've been doing dents for how long?
Close to 20 years.
So you've been doing it a long time, and you also have a retail location, right?
I do have a location for retail. Yeah, I've got a guy that he runs the retail side, and I'm mobile wholesale.
And what surprised me when I was talking to you was that your wholesale outdoes your retail quite a bit, right?
Oh yeah, by far. Like, as a matter of fact, it's probably not the optimum way to scale my business on the retail level. Like, and what I mean is I probably should be the face of my retail business, but my wholesale business is just, there's too much there to turn my back on. There's just endless opportunity. So this model has kind of worked where I have somebody that runs my retail location, and does a good job with that and is a good face for my business. But I think most people would agree you'd really rather have, but you just can't be in two places at once. But I'd love to be the face of my retail business as well. But wholesale is just such a good deal going in my area that it's really hard to walk away from that to go on a retail.
Yeah. Now, Dave, how big of an area are you in? Because when most guys hear that, they think they have to be in New York City, where there's 25 million people before they can have a wholesale gig of that size.
So we're in an area that would be probably considered to be almost rural. The area I service, there's probably 275,000 people in total, but it's covering a pretty big footprint geographically. Like it's a few small towns, some rural towns, and then a little bit bigger central city, and then another medium-sized city by our standards. But in comparison to like big metropolises, it's very small.
Is your auto row or whatever it is kind of centralized and compact?
In one town, we have a couple areas that are about 15, 20 minutes away from one another that are sort of centralized as far as the automotive groups. But we don't really, our highest end dealer in this area is BMW, Mercedes. We don't have any high end like Porsche, Mercedes, or Porsche, Lamborghini, Ferrari, anything like that. We're not at that level. It's just not a big enough populace to support those kind of stores.
So how many dealers are you servicing?
Me, myself?
How many dealers are you
How many do I service?
Yeah.
About 25.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you have to drive a lot in between them then, being that rural and what you're talking about?
So I have an hour commute just to get to the town that I work in. From where I live, it's about an hour away. Like I service a little bit in the city I live in. That's sort of the smaller city. And then I drive basically an hour to the little bit bigger town. And that's where I do the bulk of my business. And that's where my retail location is. And, within that city, there's kind of two areas that are where the dealerships are located. And they're about 15 minutes apart from one another. So I probably spend, at least 2 hours driving every day, minimum.
Dang.
Okay.
Kind of numbers you're sharing with us. What's your business model or your pricing structure that you're going off? Are you using like a Mobile Tech RX or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed a big shift in my business in probably the last 6-7 years between, podcasts like what you guys are doing and Paul Corden with the pricing guide and Mobile Tech RX and PDR College and all those things have really changed the direction of my wholesale business and obviously for me to get involved in the retail business as well. But, I used to be one price to fix everything. And now with Mobile Tech RX, I will, if I'm taking anything apart, any R&I or any substantial damage, body lines, things like that, I'll charge extra for that with an explanation, written right into the bill. And I don't get any questions. And, I was telling Daniel, I shouldn't say I don't get any questions. I've had questions, obviously, about some bigger expenses. And I had a job not too long ago. We did a big job. And it was an emergency thing, no asking about prices or questions about anything. It was just get this job done. So we did it, submitted a bill. It was close to $1,000. And I had the general manager on the phone shortly after that bill arrived in his email box. And so we settled on about $700. He was not happy that I didn't give him an estimate first, blah, blah, blah. And I broke a few of the rules. But at the end of the day, reflecting back on that, 5-6 years ago, I probably would have fixed that dent for $100, and I got $600, $700 for that job. It's moving in the direction we need it to move, right? And
nice.
It's because of things like this. It's because of getting your worth and realizing what it is. And dealerships don't do favors for me when I drop my car off for service. Like if the taillight needs to be pulled out, that's on the list of procedures to do the job that they had to do, whatever it is, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a breakdown, and all those things cost money. So, I kind of apply that to it. And when it's written there in ink on the bill at the end of the day, nobody really questions it.
Yeah. Now, hey, this is Hudson here. I have a few nuts and bolts questions for you. Hey, sure. I got a few nuts and bolts questions for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So are you a one-man operation, or how many men you have operating? Your company?
I am by myself.
Okay.
I do the wholesale side of it, and then I have, like I mentioned before, the subcontractor runs my retail location.
Okay.
So he technically doesn't. He works for me as a subcontractor full time.
Okay. Now my next question would be: so you individually are going to 25 different dealerships on a weekly, day in and day out basis, and servicing all 25 dealerships?
I'd be lying if I told you they were all getting premium service. So some places I can probably hit every other week, or some places call me when they need me, because you're also going to sprinkle in a handful of good size, higher production body shops that I service those ones as well too, and that's on a as needed basis.
Is that a part of? Is that part of?
Like I have a.
Sorry about that.
Pardon me.
Sorry, my quick question was: is that 25 number? Are the body shops included in that 25 number?
No.
Okay, so you have 25 wholesale and then body shops on top of that.
Right. Yeah, okay. I'm at least 4 stores a day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing, because 2 of us or 3 of us, we don't do wholesale at all. But Hudson, he's wholesale all the time. Not all the time, but you're probably 80%, right, Hudson?
No, I'm about. When it comes to, my wholesale is ramped up a little bit recently. So it's at like 50% of what I bring in is probably from wholesale. And then the other 25 is retail and body shops. But I only service, I only do a couple of high end dealerships. And so like the lowest high end I do is Mercedes, and everything else is Porsche and stuff like that. So I don't have high inventory.
Now, Dave, you said you got a retail location, you have a subcontractor that works it. Do you end up ever doing any mobile retail?
I do a little bit in my town that I live in. And I'll do that. Like I have a shop at my house as well, or I'll do stuff. Like I try and work on Fridays in the town that I live in close to home, so I can try and get home to the family on Fridays if I can. And that I'll sprinkle in some smaller retail, or I'll book retail for evenings. Like I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights at my house. I built a nice shop there, and I'll have customers just drop cars off there that I can do just at home type thing for retail to take care of the town that we live in. Because again, it's an hour away from where my location is. So there's still a little bit of a call for it around where I live. And that's how I'll kind of facilitate that. But, one thing I did want to mention though is like they definitely get a lot of bad press as far as dealing with car dealers and their tendency to be cheap and shrewd and just generally treating guys like you and I not very well. And my experience has been the opposite. Like, and it's been 20 years of building relationships with these guys, but I'm friends with a paint guy and he got injured, and they waited 4 months for this guy to come back, and they were telling customers, like, we got a guy that'll take care of this for you. He's off right now, but bring these cars back. And obviously there was certain circumstances where they had to get things done, but the loyalty ran deep. And, I see that even myself, like, if I'm on vacation, they're not calling somebody else in. They're like, hey, next week our guy's back. We'll get the car back for you. Not a problem. And my experience with those guys is like, they're in for the long haul. Like a lot of them I've been working for 17, 18 years.
Yeah, that's cool. And, that's one of the reasons why I got out of wholesale was the lack of loyalty. I mean, to sit there and lose an account that you've had for 5 or 6 years over $5 difference, it's like, oh man, I'm done. When I lost my last Cadillac dealership, I'm like, forget it. I'm never going. I'm stepping out of this world. But there's plenty of money to be made in it, and if you do it right. I know, we have Dave Shalott on here quite often, and he has a great formula that works for him. Obviously, you're doing well up there in Canada land with your formula. I think where you're at, you got more wholesome people. A handshake still means something.
I was going to ask that.
I wouldn't dispute that. I don't know if I don't obviously know your areas, but I definitely feel like I've had some of these dealers tell me if they've had other people kind of solicit them. They're like, no, we're happy with our guy. He's here when he's supposed to be here. He's fair with us, and we're loyal to him. And he's been around for a long time. And we have no reason to look elsewhere, even if it's cheaper. I've had them tell me I've had guys come in and try and undercut you, but we just stick with what works for us. It's a recipe that we've kind of came up with together, and it's worked well for both sides.
Yeah. Now, do you talk to other technicians in your area at all? Are you friendly with JP? I know he's kind of in your area. He's in Windsor, maybe not too close to you.
Yeah. No, why Windsor's my town, so we basically he's direct competition for me, and we're friendly with one another for sure.
Yeah. And, I think that's what we were talking about before you came on is, we've been having these meetups throughout the country now. We had a couple on the West Coast, and now there's one on the East Coast, and there's one in Nashville showing up. Things like this to bring our community together within our area is a wonderful thing. And I'm sure other technicians in your area. Some you're probably friendly with and some not so friendly, who knows? But, it's kind of good to know your competition.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. JP and I have known each other basically all our lives. So, we definitely know our competition, that's for sure. But there's not a lot of other guys in our area. One thing I'll tell you is it's not like people are lining up to become Dent guys in Ontario. I work outside and I have for 20 years, 4 seasons. It's sometimes 20 degrees below zero. I got really proficient at fixing dents very quickly because it was either freeze out here or get this dent done, write a bill, and get moving on. So it's been bittersweet. That's it was, and that's not even a joke. I just figured out how to fix this stuff fast because it's stinking cold sometimes.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was actually in Missouri this past week with Craig Dyer, and it was 5 degrees outside, and he's freezing his ass off trying to get from the car to the restaurant. I'm like, dude, I used to have to fix dents in this. What are you talking about? He's like, how did you fix dents in this? I'm like, you put on your negative 100-degree boots, you throw on your Carhartts, and and just a sweatshirt because you get too hot at that point. And you get out there, and a good set of gloves, and you get going.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy because I'll layer up for my winter work, and then I'll have body shop calls, and they're like, no, come on in, we got the car in here, and I'm just sweating bullets because, you're not going to peel off layers when you're working.
Yeah.
And it's even to the fact of trying to, just nurture these relationships. You got to sit there sometimes and shoot the breeze and ask how the kids are and things like that. And it's like sweat's dripping down your head and you're dressed to be out there fixing cars, but you still got to, keep the relationship alive. So, that part of it is sometimes a little bit of an uphill battle, but it's good.
Yeah. Daniel has a question for you.
Got a question for you. What's your business model for your really good accounts? So what are you charging? Are you going off Mobile Tech RX and then giving them just a 25% discount? What's that like?
No, I'm usually, my base rate's $90 to go around a car within a reasonable amount. 3-4 dents that are just easy access, quarters, nickels, dimes. And then, without much blowback, I'll have up charges to 125, 150 for body lines, any R&I, things like that. And then once it gets kind of over that, I will offer them an explanation, hey, this car is going to be this much to fix and here's why, yay or nay kind of thing. And then, at that point, the ball's in their court on whether or not they want to spend the extra on it or not. And that's kind of status quo for just about everybody.
Nice.
How much are these guys checking your work and going out and looking at it, or are they just, yeah, I trust Dave, you know, he does what he says he's going to do?
Well, that totally goes back to the whole building relationships things. Like these guys, when I show up there, it's like, just fix my cars, man. Please get them done. It's not, there's never like a fight to, hey, do you want to fix these cars? Or like over the years, I've kind of weeded out the stores that are picky and choosy about what they want to do. I'm going to the places, they're basically all branded stores that want their inventory looking as good as it possibly can, be it what I do, the wheel guy, the paint guy, the interior guy. They want to recondition their cars to the highest level that they can within a realistic dollar figure.
Gotcha. Nice. I have a similar method there, Matt. I have sorry, not Matt. Good Lord, Dave. It's been a long day. Dave, yeah. So what I have,
I've been called worse.
I have a flat rate I have per car. That's and that's similar to yours. And then what I do is I'll fix. I don't care how many dents there are. I'll fix it for that flat rate. But then once you get a dent that's larger than a credit card, then it becomes like a double car price or a triple car price, depending upon the size of it. And so
do you have to get authorization for those dents, or do you just fix those and offer you know, kind of write it on the bill that this was a larger dent? Or
so it's weird. I've lucked out in I don't even have to walk my lots anymore. I just show up and they give me a list and say fix these. And so what I'll do is I'll I've gotten to a point now where they just trust me, and if it's a double car price, then I'll just say, hey, this one was a double car price. There was a dent bigger than the credit card. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Now if it's a triple or quadruple car price, then yeah, we got to have a conversation. But yeah, so yeah, I've got the same level of trust in building relations. I like everything 100% on board with what you're saying, and it's not an easy thing to do. Hello.
I like everything about what you're saying, other than the idea of somebody else writing my list terrifies me. Not terrifies me, but it just makes for a whole ton more work. Because in my mind, and I feel like that's part of my efficiency, is when I walk everybody's lot and I write my own list, and I mentally am kind of fixing cars in my head, like, oh, I'm going to use this tool to fix that car, and I'll assess the cars based on what I see on my quick walk, and then generally when I get it back, I find more things. But if somebody else is writing my list, especially on cars on lots that are a little bit more tightly packed, I now have a whole bunch of new steps that I got to put into play. Like I got to figure out where that car is, and they might have 6 of one car or whatever that, you know, I might have a car, a set of keys and a stock number. I got to figure out where that car is, how to get it from wherever it's at to where I'm working. And then I got to figure out what it was that they put on their list. Some people writing lists don't understand the type of work that I do, or what, you know, I can or can't get repaired for them. I like writing my own lists. That's, I guess, what it boils down to.
Man, I 100% agree with you. I would prefer that I walk it, because I would definitely find more work. But the way these people, you know,
that too, yeah.
But what I've done is I found the people who was actually walking the cars, and it basically gets the technicians that are actually servicing the cars. So the 2 technicians that service the cars, like, you know, they do the oil changes and get everything up to snuff mechanically. They're the ones who are also looking for the dents. So I went and I spent a good time with them saying, hey, look, let me show you how to look for dents. I go, there's a dent on pretty much every pre-owned car. All right. So I'm just letting you know, it's out of the 10 cars you walk, 9.5 of them are going to have dents. And so I just taught them. And so that's worked out for me. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I would make more money if I got to walk every single car myself. But, you know, I also don't have to worry about spending in 30 minutes to an hour walking cars every day. So
for sure. And you're dealing with a different caliber of cars too. Like, people are going to be far more critical of the type of cars you're talking about than I do. A lot of North American, like Chrysler, Ford, GM stuff, where it's a lot more generic. Like, nobody's paying nearly as close of attention to those cars as what you or I might looking at them the way we do. But you're talking Porsche, Mercedes, Lamborghini, you know, very critical eye on those cars, even from the techs, right?
Oh man, I have fixed dents on a pre-owned car that I'm just like, really, guys, a customer's not going to see this. Like, no, we want it perfect. Get it, fix it. I'm like, this is literally smaller than a dime on the bottom of the door underneath the curvature. Like the tech saw it when it was on the lift. Yeah. Like a customer, they're like, we don't care. There's a dent. Let's get it fixed. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm trying to talk them out of it, right? So Daniel,
as long as we're clear on why I'm taking your money.
Yeah. Daniel, what was your question?
So before we run out of time here, what do you say to guys? Like I have my local techs that come and visit me, and they're telling me that wholesale market is gone to crap, and they, dealers aren't fixing dents anymore. From what I hear from my local guys, what do you say to guys like that?
I'd say there's a certain amount of tenacity involved, and even probably you got to be somewhat brazen. Like I've had dealers that when I started going there, they were those guys. They're like, you know what, I'm going to try and sell that car with a dent in it, and I've got a whole playbook on my response to that. Like, and sometimes it's just me flat out looking at them like they've got three heads. Like, you're really not going to fix that dent in that door handle on that black car, right where the person's going to grab every time they're going to look at the car. And, I've got just a kind of a laundry list of ways that I've worked on these guys to kind of get them on board with my way of thinking. Like, I can't be a 911 dent guy where you decide you want to leave that car there with damage on it until it sells, and then I got to come fix it. Just, selling them on type A personality people. Like, some people will never unsee a dent. Doesn't matter how good I fix it. So why don't we take care of it now while I'm here? And it's never an issue. And just, I've converted some of these guys from being the ones that are saying, we're not going to worry about fixing that dent till the car sells, to being the guy that says, hey, thanks for coming. Just grab the keys, fix the cars that need fixing. Thanks for being here. It's just a matter of educating them on the value of the service and,
a level of trust, of trust too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of business there to be had.
I like the term you used, a 911 dent guy. I don't want to be that emergency contact.
Yeah,
and
that costs more. Reach. Or it should cost more money.
Well,
yeah.
It does, but it's the time that I don't have to try and make it back. Like, that's why I tell them, I'm like, I'm here today. I'm happy to fix everything for you and make sure I leave here with your lot looking as good as I can possibly make it look today, but I can't come back tomorrow. Somebody's got all those spots filled up.
Yeah. Well, Dave, we're running out of time. I totally appreciate you coming on. I think you brought a little bit of light on the wholesale market, and I love that.
I need one more thing from them before we go, though.
What's that?
I need to know, what is your one piece of advice for someone who is in wholesale and they're getting a little bit, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but a little bit like downtrodden, disgruntled with the whole wholesale process. What would be a word of advice from someone who's having success in that arena?
Suck it up, Buttercup. It's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Sorry. Coming from the guy that hasn't done wholesale in like 15 years.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think Suck It Up Buttercup's probably going to get you where you need to be, but you definitely, I mean, it's hard to say because, like, I one piece of advice would be, like, I guess one of the turning things for me was when I actually started to treat my job as a business as best I could, being one guy. But you gotta be religious about your availability. Like, if I'm not going to be there for any reason, it's a phone call. It's like, hey, or the week before, hey, I'm not around next week. It's about the reliability factor. I think that's a big thing, is that they see my face. Pardon?
Yeah.
Amen on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'll even take us to, I have an app that I use that's called Group Text. And whenever when I'm coming to a place and it's a large facility, like I have a place that's like 3 or 4 different dealers in one. And I have a group text that I just send one text to every single salesman and service writer. I'll just say, hey guys, I'm on the premises today. If you need anything, I'll be over here. And so I send that one text, and
That's
that
sweet.
app will send it to every single service writer and salesman, just communicating that I'm there.
What's that
There's
app
a
called
time I
again? 'Cause
don't-
that's pretty slick.
What's it called?
Group text, I believe. I'm an Apple user, so
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So I believe it's called group text.
All real
yeah.
techs are Apple users.
Text groups. Text groups.
Text groups.
Yeah, and so I have like my Porsche group. I've got my Mercedes group. I've got them all saved, and I click it and send it, and then boom.
That's awesome. Good tech tip. Well, Dave,
Do you mind me asking you? Did you start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you implement that after you left the dealership and a service writer was calling you saying, "Hey, have you left?" and you got to turn around and come back? Because I run into that all the time. That's why I love the sounds of that. It's like,
yeah, I got really tired of that because I was literally just there 30 minutes ago, and I'm already to my next place. And I'm like, man, I just need this done. It's sold. I'm like, I'm there every Wednesday. Like, yeah, I just forgot. I'm like, I've been there every Wednesday for the past 6 years. Like, but I got tired of it. So yeah, I think I paid like $10 for the app, tax write-off.
Yep.
Nice.
sounds like money well spent. I'm gonna have to look into that for sure.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, Dave, listen.
Dave, I'm going to come up and see your hot rods.
Yeah, you got a cool one, don't you? A yellow one? What is that? Super B?
Yeah,
or
I
something?
got a '67 Chevelle.
Oh, Chevelle. Oh, 67.
67
Yeah.
Chevelle convertible.
Yes. A buddy of mine had
Yeah,
a
come
67.
on over, man. We'll go burn the tires off of it.
Yeah. I had a buddy that won Super Chevy with the 67 Chevelle.
Nice.
Really?
And
Yep.
you guys are at MTE. Look up Dave. Dave is the nicest guy I've ever met, and love his Canadian accent.
All you Canadians are great dudes, man. We have some good fun with you guys at MTE.
Exactly.
Yep.
Dave, what do you think about the new
Canadians have
Chevelle
good fun
coming
with
out?
you guys.
Yeah. What's that, Hudson?
I said, Dave, what do you think about this new Chevelle that Chevy's trying to bring out? Have you heard?
It doesn't do a lot for me, but I saw a rendering of an El Camino that looked kind of cool.
I hate El Caminos. Hate them.
Oh, shut up.
But
Business in the front, party in the back.
Awesome. Dave, you been,
there you go.
Is it a car?
Thank you so
Is it a
much.
truck? Don't know. No. Anyways.
It doesn't matter. It's got to burn the tires off.
Yeah. Well, brother, man, we appreciate you coming on here with us for the few minutes of your time. I know it's late over there in Canada land, and we'll get you back on here sometime, and we'll talk some more wholesale talk with you. Maybe get you and Dave Shalata on the same time and go at it.
I love that. He's got some awesome ideas. I enjoyed spending some time with him at MTE too, just bouncing ideas off each other. But anytime, like, I appreciate you guys having me. I hope I don't have much to offer, but I'm open book. So
That's awesome. We appreciate it. Well,
Well,
cool.
it's great to get somebody from Canada on the show finally.
Yeah, different perspective.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
well, thanks
you
for
take
having me.
care.
I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Okay, we'll talk to you later, Dave.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, bye now. Well, thanks to Dave for coming on. He's super cool, like you said.
Yeah, that dude's cool. I like him.
Yeah, that's rural area up in Canada. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of driving to
And he's
get around.
killing it up there. He shared his numbers with me, and I'm like, whoa, okay. We're bringing.
I don't.
good for him.
I don't. You can't. You could pay me $1 million, and I'm not working on that Tundra.
You get used to it. You really do.
Nah,
not that
bro.
bad.
Nah, it's gonna be 50 degrees and raining here tomorrow, and I'm already like, no.
Yeah, us out here in California feel the same way about Texas.
I'm warmed up.
And why do y'all keep moving here? Stop moving here. Good Lord. Freaking California's
It's
coming to
sweat
Texas.
out there. Oh, it's too sweaty.
Oh, I love the sweat.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, that brings us to another episode end. We want to remind you guys to get to these meetups that are going on March 7th. The one at RPM Dent Removal in Boston, just outside of Boston, and Nashville at the Dent Smart meetup. So, yeah, Daniel, what do you got to say?
And for all your PDR needs, go to Anson. Buy your tools at Anson, dude. You can buy hog glue and everything else.
Dude, I was just there this weekend. They got everything. They really do.
Everything.
They do.
Good people. Go to Anson.
Yeah. Sign up for the IMI too, guys. Sign up for the IMI.
Level up your tools.
And man, if you guys are getting the aches and pains, make sure you go to CBD Direct. And trust me, it makes a difference in my world because I did a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So don't do stupid stuff.
And remember to keep it stiff.
Visit AnsonPDR.com for the largest selection for just about all your PDR tools, where you'll find hog glue and hog tabs.
Mobile Tech RX, the app that helps you make more money.
Don't forget to grab your Magnatech mat, available at most PDR tool distributors. Thanks for listening.